Hello my loves, it is time for another drugstore foundation testing video. I picked up this one. This is the Maybelline Superstay Lumi Matte foundation. It comes in 24 shades from what I can see in Australia at least. And it's retailing for about $25 at Chemist Warehouse. I didn't pay that much. I got it on, I think it was 40 or 50% off. I picked up the shade 98, which is pretty light. I had a lot of trouble getting this. For one, when I first went to Chemist Warehouse, it was out of stock in the two lighter shades that they actually had in store. They don't stock the whole range in store, at least not at any of the Chemist Warehouses that I went to. I went on a trek to get this. I went for a long drive because I've heard that it's really good. It's meant to wear for up to 30 hours and it's meant to be like a luminous matte shade. So I swatched this on my neck in store just down here. It looked pretty good. I wasn't very impressed with the shade range. There was this shade and then obviously darker shades, and they were very pink, very yellow, and then it got into a realm where I was like, this is way too dark for me. It's gonna look like a mask. Now, full disclosure, I have actually tried this and I don't like it, but I thought we would try it again because my experience with it the first time was, holy shit, it's very light, but actually I don't think that the shade is really that bad for me. But what I did notice was the way it was sitting on my skin was just unpleasant. It was sticking to like dry patches that I didn't realize I had. That's not unusual. I have dry skin. So I decided that I was going to come back and do this review after trying to pump my skin full of more moisture, which I don't think is possible. Like, I'm kind of doing my damnedest at the moment. And also physically exfoliating, because I don't physically exfoliate a whole lot. I prefer to just use acids. The coverage is okay. I think it's like, you know, helping to cover that redness a little bit. You can see I have a broken capillary here, which is just like, it's impossible to cover nicely. I definitely think that there are some things that are off with this foundation for me. For one, I don't think it's very forgiving if you do have really dry skin. And I think also the problem with this particular shade is that there's a lot of white pigment in it, and you can really see it on the skin. So I do think a darker shade would have been better, because I think the white pigment in this actually accentuates like any dry patches or any, you know, not perfectly exfoliated, hydrated skin. But the problem with the darker shades that I was looking at was that they were very yellow, very pink, or simply too dark. So that's why I chose the shade that I did. I'm going to turn this brightness down because it's just all getting washed out. I definitely think in areas where my skin is like, you know, it's good, it looks great, but in areas where my skin is a little sad, it doesn't look great. I feel like it's looking, I don't know how it's looking on camera. It looks fine in my viewfinder, but I feel like in person, like I'm looking a bit like washed out and it just doesn't look right. It looks a bit mask-like. I don't really feel like it's, you know, melding very well with my skin. It just kind of looks like it's sitting on top of the skin. I think the white pigment in it makes that more apparent. So I think darker shades are probably going to be a little more forgiving. I would classify this foundation as a good from afar, but far from good for me. It has pretty good coverage. Like I quite like it. And I think it would be a lot better if I did some color correcting. So I think I want to put that on my list of things to do to test this out. I do think if I had a slightly darker foundation that I could mix this with, it might also look better. But potentially there's just too much white pigment in there. And it is creasing in my smile lines. I mean, that's, you know, not anything new or groundbreaking with foundations for me, but, you know, some of them do it more than others. And I do feel like it makes my face look quite white, which I'm not a huge fan of, obviously. I'm going to put on some bronzer and finish up my makeup so we can just see how it looks as a whole. I will say this does set a bit, and I'm probably not going to powder it. Okay, so that's my face basically done. I'm struggling with the lighting. It's a pretty overcast day. If I turn up the ISO on the camera, we get this like really like white washed out, like light reflective. It's just the foundation, like, it reflects light. So I think with bronzer, it's come up a little bit better, and like, you know, blush, highlight, lips, define the eyes. I am going to put on some lashes because I'll film another video after this. It is 10:15. I'm going to run some errands and do some shit today and just see how it goes. Like I said, I didn't powder and I have not spritzed it. Check in a bit later, let you guys know how it's looking. I'm not going to wear it for 30 hours. I'm not even going to try and do like 12 hours. I'll probably wash this off at 4 p.m. Let's be real. Okay, little evening check-in. I made it later in the day than I thought I would. It is 5:30. I am in my pajamas. I want to go and make dinner, but I also want to take this makeup off, and I need to update you guys and let you know how it's held up. I think it's held up okay. I don't think, like, I feel like I might have waited too long before I blended in my bronzer. I don't think that's looking great, and I went out in public with that, so that's unpleasant. I do think, oh, look, let's get up close. So you can see a little bit of creasing. I did, like, as it was setting and I was putting it on, I was sort of blending that out to try and soften it. It sets pretty well, which is good, and it hasn't creased too much around my eyes, which I really like. Freya's getting excited and banging stuff because Chris is on his way home and she knows. I just feel like, here she is. Yes, I know, he's coming. I just feel like it doesn't look all that good on my skin. And I think it is a combination of the formula not being quite right for me. The color is certainly off. The coverage is okay, but like you can see, I've been blowing my nose and stuff, so I've had a little bit of product wear off and it's looking a little bit patchy around my nose. You know, it hasn't covered my broken pupillary that well. That's okay. I do feel like my redness comes through a little bit, especially on my chin. And the issue is that, yes, I could apply more for more coverage. I could certainly use a concealer as well. That's not an issue. If I was applying more, I think it would look too heavy. Since it's not like really blending that well, like the way it sits on my skin, it looks like it's sitting on top of the skin and not sort of melding with the skin, which I think a good foundation always does. I'm scared to put more on because I think it will look like a cakey mask. Now, I'm not quite done. I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to try it again, but I'm going to mix it with some different products to see how it looks. I would ultimately like to make the foundation work because then I can wear it and it doesn't feel like a waste of money. And usually I would do that off camera, but I think this time I'm going to take you on that journey with me. Okay, day 2, let's crack into it. So I've done a little bit of research on this foundation, mostly the ingredients, reading up on the ingredients to get an idea if it would work with what I was thinking of mixing it with. So I'm going to mix it with the Revlon Skin Caring Foundation. This is one that I purchased recently and it's been a big flop for me and I don't want to use it. I've used it a couple of times, mostly mixing it with other concealers and stuff. I still don't like it. This is on the chopping block and if it works with this then great, like I'll mix them together. I'm hoping that this will help the color. This color is quite good for me. This one, terrible. I should have compared them in store. I just didn't think to do that, but I don't, look, I'll say about the color of this, I genuinely do not believe that there is a color in the range that is going to match me adequately. So I don't think it really matters. Another one that I'm going to try and mix it with is actually the Chanel Vitalumiere. This is the Radiant Moisture Rich Fluid. So again, you can see the color differences there. Now, this one, I had it in my project pan and I opted to declutter it because it's a silicone-based foundation. And that's not really my favorite, especially with like hydrating foundations. They just move too much on me. Also, the color of this it's too dark. So I'm hoping that will work. Now, if you're thinking, oh, Hailey, is it going to actually mix with the Maybelline because this is silicone based? Yeah, it should, because this is actually silicone based, silicone and alcohol. I'm also not too worried about the Revlon because this is a silicone base as well. So for mixing, I'm just doing one squirt of each to see how they go. I've got the Chanel mixture here and this one is the Revlon mixture. I will put Chanel on this side of the face. Miss Freya, barking at nothing. Color is already looking a bit better. I'm looking a bit rough today, guys. I am in my pajamas again. It's Friday. It's a bit of a chilly day. The sun is out, but it's definitely wintering here in Perth. I'm staying in my pajamas all day and I'm not doing my hair and I don't care. I think that looks pretty good, to be honest. The Chanel foundation is very light coverage. Jeez, I've got a lot of that in my hair. Very light coverage, very like hydrating, dewy, all that jazz. So it would balance quite well with the, you know, the dryness of this, especially with it being quite matte. But the problem with the Chanel is like it just moves so much. I'm not going to take it all the way down my neck because I've pretty much used up that product. It's all gone, so I'll just spread it as far as I can take it. But I think it looks okay. A little bit yellow maybe, or potentially that's just the redness in my skin. I feel like this camera, if there's one thing that this camera is good at, it is bringing the redness out of my skin that I feel, I think I'm just blind to it basically. But in terms of like my face matching my neck, it's looking pretty good. Next up is Revlon. We'll use the clean side of the sponge. Again, the Revlon has quite light coverage and it is very like dewy and hydrating, which I mean, I bought it because I wanted dewy and hydrating because that's what my skin needs. Otherwise it's just so uncomfortable to wear. I feel like the colors are fairly similar. Yes, hello. Oh, did you tell the people who were breathing in another state off? And did they stop? I have to admit, I feel like they look pretty similar. I don't think the redness coverage, like the redness coverage sort of in my cheeks and on my chin where it's not too bad. It's okay. You can just see how it like just scraped off my face. This is why I don't like silicone based hydrating foundations or like dewy foundations, because they don't set, they just like, you know, they move. You have to set them. And one of the things that I actually liked about the Superstay was you don't have to set it. Anyway, back to redness. You can see that broken capillary there, which is, you know, the reddest thing on my face. I might go ahead and mix up some more. I have a little bit more of the Chanel mixture here. Now I don't know which side of the sponge was which. It probably doesn't matter all that much, but I might just use a brush anyway, because ultimately what I'm going for is a little bit of extra coverage, and I can use this as an opportunity to see how it applies with a brush. Oh, if this doesn't crease too much, this might be the winner. I feel like a lot of that really weird like texture enhancement that you get from like too much white pigment in a foundation is not, like, that's gone, which I'm loving. Just touch up the Revlon side. I'm gonna pop some concealer over this because it's just irritating me. I also have a lot of like texture issues on my nose, which it's just hard to deal with. All right, I'm gonna put on some like colored base products and finish up my eyes, and then we'll check in. I'm not gonna set it. I'm just gonna let it be and let it see how it wears. And if I like it as it is, then in the future, when I'm playing around with it, I can set it and see how I go. But I kind of just want to see how it is on its own. I think it's a beautiful finish. It's got that sort of like, you know, it's not matte by any means, but it's also not as dewy as those two foundations are on their own. Okay, makeup's done. Go me for wearing my red Project Pan lip. So as a reminder, we've got Revlon on this side and we have the Chanel on this side. And I don't know if it's just in my head or, I feel like the Chanel looks better, but maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Can you tell a difference? Maybe it's just all in my head. Also, maybe I've got more light diffusion on this side because I've got like the window light. So that might be it. If I turn this down, make it a little darker. I don't know. Maybe there's not really any difference, but if I can be happy enough with one of these, I will hold on to this. I'm thinking like I could pan these together. That could be great. But I like, if I'm doing a 50-50 mix, I'm only going to get through, you know, a bottle. I'm not going to keep both the Revlon and the Chanel, but I'd probably prefer to pan the Chanel over the Revlon because, you know, money. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna wear this for a while. Like I said, I haven't set it and I'm not going to. I will show you the creasing. So we've definitely got some. The line on this side of my face is the deeper one. They both look pretty shitty. It is 11:10, so I'm just going to wear this for however long I feel like it. I'm not doing a wear test. I don't really care about that sort of stuff. I just want to get an idea for how it wears, how it looks, all that jazz. So I'll be back. I'm looking a bit rough. I have just sat down to eat an early dinner and I realized that I'm getting food on my face and wiping it off, which means I'm going to be wiping off the foundation, which means I should just do my check-in now. Overall, I'm actually pretty happy with how this has worked out. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and use the Vita Lumiere with the Superstay until one or both is finished. I think it's held up pretty well. My lipstick certainly hasn't, but now that I'm seeing it up close, look at this. That's like from me pulling faces, and you can see it creasing around my eyes and like creasing in my smile lines. I'm pretty sure this side was the Revlon, if I remember correctly. This side is the Chanel. And I do have, you can see those lines there again. I don't know, I think I might just get rid of all of it. Yeah, it's not that great. Maybe if I set the combos, it would be better. Oh my god, that broken capillary. Yeah, maybe if I set it, it would be better, and I probably will try that. But like, full transparency, I have already ordered 2 new foundations, which I'm hoping I'll enjoy. They are both K Beauty products, I believe. Maybe J Beauty. I have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure they're both K Beauty. So I'm not really married to the idea of sticking this out if it doesn't work for me. But like I've mentioned a lot in the past, I do like to find ways to use products so that it's not being wasted. It doesn't feel like a waste of money for me. I definitely think mixing did improve the formulas of all of these foundations for me, but it hasn't made them like perfect. So I'll probably continue to play around with them for a little while. If you never see them again on this channel, you know why. All right, guys, I'm gonna go finish my dinner. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave your comments down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.